Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Digital Marketing Bootcamp presentation. Let me just see if I'm connected to my. I'm not.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody. So it's a pleasure being here with you guys today on the Orchard Business Bootcamp. My name is Renato. Here's all my details. I'm the master of all things at Barrel Group. I want to obviously first and foremost extend my sincere gratitude to Orchard for inviting me to share my insights around digital marketing today with you guys. You know, in today's fast-paced, digitally driven world, having a strong online presence is no longer a luxury, but a necessity, you know, for businesses of all sizes, small, medium, large. So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, understanding the power of digital marketing is crucial for your success. So today we're going to kind of explore how to harness this powerful tool and how to propel your business forward. So before we dig down into digital marketing, let's talk about marketing quickly. I'm just going to give you a high-level overview of what it is and how to kind of essentially understand how to use it and what it is and what the overarching thing is. You know, digital marketing is a subset of marketing. And marketing, basically, in a nutshell, is essentially about understanding your customers inside and out. So it's the art of anticipating their needs, even before they realize they need them, by obviously deeply understanding your customers and what they want and desire, how you can create products or services that truly resonate with them, or how to speak to these clients around your products to make them believe that it's the right thing to do, you're the right company to work for, or to work with. It's not just about a sale, it's also about building long-lasting relationships. So marketing is the bridge between your business and your customers, ensuring that you know you deliver value at every touch point, online, in print, even when you talk to them face to face. You're always marketing. So marketing is basically the foundation on which every business, every successful business is built on. It's the art of understanding your customers' needs, creating products and services that meet those needs, and building long-lasting relationships. Digital marketing, as I said earlier, is a powerful extension to this core concept. It allows you and us to connect with customers in a more personalized and interactive way. Everybody's online these days, so you know, being present when they're present. It allows us to connect with customers in a more, you know, like I said, personal and interactive way by talking to them on social media. And today we will delve a little bit deeper into the digital realm, exploring how to leverage your online channels or any online channels to kind of reach your target audience effectively and drive your business growth. So digital marketing in a broad term, or is a broad term, that encompasses all marketing activities that employ or leverage digital technologies. It involves obviously the promotion of products, your services, or even just brands through one or more forms of digital marketing, digital media, should I say. The fundamental objective of digital marketing is to engage your customers, talk to them, interact with them, and build brand awareness, awareness to drive sales. Obviously, this is what we all want. Utilizing the various digital marketing channels that are available to you. As you can see from this graphic, there's a lot, and you can't be on all of them. There's not enough time in a day to use every single one of them, unless you've got a nice big team behind you. So these channels can include obviously social media platforms, SEO, which is search engine optimization, that's the likes of Google, email marketing, that explains itself. Content marketing is blogs, articles, newsletters, those kind of things. Mobile marketing speaks for itself, you know, reaching your customers on their digital devices in their hands. By using these online-based technologies, your business can reach a vast audience in a way that is both cost-effective and measurable. Little backstory here. I used to work at IBM, and I ran the 1 and 2 socket server business throughout Africa. And we were given I was given a budget, it was $2,500 a quarter to go out and market the products to whichever channels were available. And at that point, I was kind of forced into putting broad printed ads in the Sunday Times and newspapers and those kind of things. And at the end of the quarter, I'd have meetings with management and they would say, how did it go? I'm like, I have no idea. The newspaper was sold X amount of times. Like, I couldn't tell you if anybody even read the article or even noticed it. If they, I don't know what they did with that page. The marketing team at IBM and I kind of got together and we started having a discussion. I reduced that $2,500 to $250 a quarter, and we started using social media platforms, WhatsApp messages, emails to clients and business partners. We ran campaigns where our partners could go out and do things, earn points, and then get put into into the running to win a prize in a competition. The competition that was most successful, we ran. We took the winning partners to the 2010 Soccer World Cup. So in that process, what I learned was we could measure how many people saw anything we did, how many people clicked on them, how many people clicked through and actually completed something. Like if we ran a Google ad, if they clicked on the ad and they completed a form, we measured that whole thing, where they came from, which ad they clicked, where they were before they clicked the ad, what website the ad was presented on. All that kind of stuff is measurable. And this is what digital marketing is all about. You can measure all these activities. So an important thing, like I just kind of mentioned in my history, is understanding the customer journey. This is obviously very essential for anybody to succeed with digital marketing. So this visual represents a simplified version of that journey, the marketing funnel. I'm sure you know what that is or have heard of it. And basically this funnel starts with both new and existing customers entering the awareness stage. So for new customers, the right offer is crucial. So you've got to capture them and their attention and guide them through that funnel. Come here, we have the right, answering the right questions at the right time, pointing them to the right media, be it on your website, on your social platforms, to kind of educate them about what you do. So one thing you've got to remember, between 7 and 12 touches digitally is what it takes for a customer to build some sort of rapport with your brand. So you've got to touch them between 7 and 12 times. 7 is the best, 12 is the worst, but if they've seen you, clicked on an ad, clicked on a social media post, read a blog, received an email, whatever it is, there's 7 to 12 touch points that a customer has to have in the digital sphere before they actually start knowing who you are, understanding what you have, and building some sort of rapport and trust. So this is how you guide them through the tunnel, mapping their pain points and speaking their language as often as you can and touching them as many times as you can. So if you think about it, today with AI and search engines, existing customers and new customers have access to a wealth of information at their fingertips. So you can offer that wealth of information and create opportunities by being at the right place at the right time with your customers digitally. So if you're introducing new solutions or expanding their engagement with existing services, you can drive a lot of growth through cross-selling and upselling, part of the funnel. What you've got to remember is your existing customers are a treasure trove of data about your target market. Understanding what they're doing, where they're going, leveraging this information could be and potentially is a game changer for you acquiring new business. Yeah, something that people find very difficult to do is creating case studies or customer success stories. These are extremely powerful tools because you started with something and ended up with something better. And if you can show people that you do this successfully and you can get those customers to kind of rubber stamp that case study, it is a free exercise basically, and it goes an extremely long way. The old saying that word of mouth is the strongest form of marketing, absolutely, it still stands today. So using this information, you can kind of share these stories with potential clients. They've got a way to read it. It can solidify your position as a market leader and inspire a lot of truth in potential customers because it's there. Getting people to write reviews and publish them on Google Business, it is extremely powerful. People don't understand it. And then, finally, this funnel, you've got to obviously build strong relationships post sale. Once you have a customer, you don't forget them. Yes, you're doing stuff, but stay in touch with them, talk to them. It's essential for long-term success. By obviously delivering exceptional service and exploring opportunities for expansion in your customers, you can turn these satisfied customers into loyal advocates of your business, which could help you write that case study, even if you're busy working with them. So in our digital era, digital marketing is obviously key to business growth and success, which we're kind of touching on through verified or varied digital platforms, social media, etc. Businesses can reach customers, around the corner or on the other side of the planet. Providing personalized experiences in those interactions and communications. It allows you to stay competitive and allows you to adapt to the shifting customer behaviors and market trends because all of this is measurable. Effective marketing is the cornerstone of any successful business. So let's break it down to some of the key benefits as you can see on the page here. Increased sales are obviously everybody's most obvious outcome. We want more income, but by connecting with the right audience and effectively communicating your value proposition through social digital platforms, you can drive more customers to your business. Inbound marketing, bring them to you. Build a strong brand reputation is obviously essential. People need to trust your brand, not just your people. When customers trust your brand, they're more likely to become repeat customers and recommend your products and services to others. Word of mouth again, very strong. Customer loyalty is obviously directly tied to a positive brand experience. By consistently delivering value and retaining existing clients, you can increase your share of the market. We're all looking for that too. That's kind of secondary to the income. A strong strategy is what gives you a competitive edge. It helps you differentiate your business from your competitors, attract the customers that you're looking for and potentially outperform your rivals. Marketing is an investment and people don't always understand it, but it's one that can yield a very high return. So marketing is always the first thing to be dropped when budgets need to be whittled down, and marketing is always the last thing most businesses think about. But I'd like to emphasize today that this is the wrong way of doing things. Marketing if you don't have a salesperson helping you grow your business, marketing is your salesperson. If you invest in this, like I said, you can measure your return. Every click has a click value, a rand value, and if that click turns into a sale, often that one sale will cover the cost of your whole marketing campaign. Data-driven marketing obviously is freely available today, as I mentioned earlier. Um, it helps you make more informed decisions. So, I mean, if you're running a pay-per-click advertising campaign through Google Ads or Amazon or whatever the case is, you can analyze that data and see, well, that person that clicked wasn't actually looking for my product, was looking for something else. And you can take those keywords and exclude them from your ads. This way, streamlining who you see, how you see them, and who clicks what and who takes action. So, you can analyze your customer behavior and you can analyze the trends in the data, and then you can adapt your strategy to stay ahead of the curve. And obviously reduce your actual spend if you're targeting the right people and you've cleaned out all the other stuff you don't want. And then finally, effective marketing, you can mitigate risk. By understanding your customers in the market, you can anticipate challenges and opportunities, and this allows you to respond more proactively. So I think a little bit more on the risk mitigation. It's about keeping your ears to the ground, hearing what people are talking about your brand, and if anybody's saying anything negative, you can have a plan to respond to the negativity. So the easiest example I can give you this on this risk mitigation is if somebody comes to your Google business profile, everybody should have one, every business, and writes a review there, but it's a negative review. How you respond will determine how potential customers will think of your brand. I mean, nobody wants a negative review on anywhere, anywhere that's public. Nobody wants a negative review, but negative reviews has a positive outcome. So if a business is getting 100 reviews and they're all 5 stars, if you had to look at that, you'd and you don't know the brand, you kind of think, why do they get 5 stars? That's like a little bit impossible. If you've got a 4.8 or a 4.5, that makes more sense because it kind of tells the person that's reviewing your business, you're not just a mechanism, but you're a mechanism backed by human beings. I want to deal with human beings. So a negative review basically tells that person, look, I understand that, not everybody in the world gets along with each other, and you can have disagreements, and these things happen, and people react differently to disagreements, and the way you respond to that negative review will kind of tell these people, well, level-headed, straight shooting, whatever the case is, speak volumes about your business. So in your plan, in your marketing plan, you've always got to have a risk mitigation factor built in and on how you're going to respond to negative naysayers about your business. So digital marketing, is a broad term that encompasses a lot of marketing activities that obviously leverage digital technology. It obviously involves promotion of products, promotion of services that you want to get into the market, and your brand through these forms of digital media. I think the fundamental objective of digital marketing is more about engaging your customers, building your brand awareness, and obviously driving sales through whichever channel you can. And obviously, not every channel is for every business. If you're a B2B company, then you should be potentially looking at LinkedIn rather than Instagram. If you're a B2C customer, you should be looking at Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as an example. By using these online-based digital technologies, our businesses can reach a vast audience, obviously in a way that's both cost-effective and measurable. And you don't have to reach that vast audience by spending a cent, spending time. You could, if you don't have somebody and you don't want to pay somebody to do these things, you could do it yourself. Today with AI, there's so much available and so much assistance you can get out of it to help you with your digital strategy, implementing, posting, measuring, all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to do it with paid. I mean, you can build a solid foundation by just getting your brand out there, talking about your brand, talking about your customers, talking about your services, and finding out what people are asking in the market relating to your services. What are the questions? And using those as keywords in your content. It doesn't cost money to do that. So the digital landscape is obviously a very dynamic and ever evolving space. Things are always changing. I mean, I focus a lot on search engine optimization, answer engine optimization, and generative engine optimization. This is AI and SEO. And Google makes a lot of changes to the algorithms very regularly, and it affects a lot of things. And you have to adjust to those changes as a business, as a marketer, and as an agency like ourselves. So that's the one change. The other change is customers change. They've got a lot more access to information. And while they're doing research, they change their perspective on what their perceived outcome is. So, they start asking different questions. So digital marketing is about harnessing this online world to connect with that audience in a meaningful way. So finding out what they're looking for, talking to them, and answering their questions. It's about being where your customers are, your potential customers. So you're going to have to do research about and finding out, where they hang out, understand their digital behaviors. How do they interact with digital data, information, and find out where they hang out. Is it Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, Delve? Where is it? And engage with them there with relevant messages that resonate to what they're investigating. From social media platforms to search engines, the digital realm offers a vast array of opportunities to build brand awareness, engage with your customers, and obviously drive sales. And I've said this, but this is if you embrace digital marketing, you can obviously always unlock new possibilities and growth for your business success. Digital marketing also is beyond simply reaching customers. Digital marketing provides unparalleled opportunities for businesses to understand both their audience and measure their impact and optimize your strategy accordingly. With tools that are freely available, having analytics freely available at your fingertips, you can gain a plethora of valuable insights into customer behavior, what their preferences are, and their buying journeys. And reading analytical data can be quite a mission if you don't understand what you're looking for. But I'll go back to what I said earlier. AI is your friend, and you can feed the data to AI, and it can help you, change, adapt, tweak, and make sure you're reaching the audience you're intended to reach, and you're answering their questions. And this data-driven approach empowers you to refine, your message, personalize your campaign so that you're not wasting time and money, and everybody, just being viewed, and in the process achieving better results. Digital marketing is obviously also a lot more cost effective, as I mentioned earlier in my experience with IBM. We reduced it massively, the quarterly spend, and we got so much more out of it. Because of the fact that you can target specific demographics, you can target specific interests, you can align with specific behaviors, which obviously reduces your spend. I mean, printing a broadleaf double page in Sunday Times costed a lot of money, and that piece of newspaper could have been used to cover an avocado to ripen it faster. No one saw it. It just I got a ripe avo out of that in a short period of time. I mean, that doesn't help me as the business, does it? So again, the ability to track and measure any of your campaigns or all of your campaigns in real time enables you to make a lot more informed, data-driven decisions to adjust and optimize your return on investment. So let's talk about strategy. So this is obviously your roadmap to online success, and you need a strategy and you need to plan it. So I'm going to break this down into some of the essential steps. Obviously, firstly, you've got to define your goals and objectives. What do you want to achieve with your digital marketing efforts? Are you aiming to increase sales? Are you aiming to build brand awareness? Or are you trying to generate leads? I think I said those probably in the wrong uh, order. I think the first thing you got to do while you're defining your goals is, if you don't have a brand presence, you got to build brand awareness. And once you've done that for a little while, and you're starting to get a little bit of feedback from people, then you can start building on generating leads and then increasing the sales. So setting clear and measurable goals will guide obviously your entire strategy. Then you need to identify your target audience. You need to understand who you're trying to reach. You need to create a detailed profile of that group of people you see as your ideal customer. You need to include their demographics, their interests, what are their behaviors. This knowledge will help you tailor your message and choose the right channels to spread your word. If there's any salespeople here, I'm sure you'll understand this. If you walk into a potential customer's office and you're going to have a meeting with them, I know I used to do this. Before you sit down, after you've shaken hands and whatever else, you generally look around the office and see what they like. Does this guy play golf? Is he into hockey? Does he run? Does he like motor racing? He's got a picture of his family on his desk. You pick up all these things, and then you use that to kind of relate back and get your message across. The same thing goes for, identify your audience. Who are they? What are they like? Where do they hang out? What do they do in their spare time? How can you reach them? You build that target audience, and you got to build it with a lot of information. At the end of the presentation, there is a template which the team will share with you, which will guide you through this process. And it's a little document you can fill in and add some information, to help you prepare your own digital roadmap marketing strategy. And then the next step is you've got to look at what your competitors are doing, analyze where they post, how often they post, are they running ads, evaluate what they are doing, look at their digital strategies and identify any gaps that you can in the market that your products or services could potentially be an opportunity for your business. Understanding your competition will help, obviously, you differentiate your brand and stand out. You need to have competitors. There are competitors, always. And then once you've got a clean and clear understanding of your goals, your audience, your competition, then you can develop your digital marketing channels. So is that social media? Is it email? Is it ads in Google or wherever? You select the channels that align best with your audience and your goals. Like I said earlier, a B2B business, you'd want one of your channels to be LinkedIn, because that's where people hang out from a business perspective, or an app like Apollo.io. If you're trying to sell products online, like an e-commerce store, you probably want to go to Instagram, where you can post pictures, and Facebook, where you can communicate with people, because a lot of people use that. You could potentially use TikTok and plug your e-commerce store into the Google Marketplace. So you need to decide what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and where's the best place to reach your audience. And then you need to obviously create a content calendar to ensure your consistent and relevant content creation is published in the right time, at the right place. I mean, all these systems today have an analytics section. So if you're using Meta Business, which is Instagram and Facebook, they've got an analytics section, and LinkedIn's very similar, where it says, your audience is generally available on a Wednesday at 2:00 in the afternoon. So you schedule your post accordingly so that you reach those people when they're on their phone or when they're on their LinkedIn profile browser. If you have to post earlier than that date or day, you'll generally find that you end up in their news, the news feed, but you're at the bottom of the pile and they scroll past you extremely fast. So if you happen to post while they're busy, it pops up at the top of their news feed. So, think about this, use that data and plan your schedule. And then if you're going to spend any money, allocate your budget wisely across the different channels. And then finally, I've mentioned this a few times, you must measure, analyze, and optimize. If you're running ads and you're spending money on per click or per view or anything like that, you should be analyzing the feedback and the data daily so that you can optimize your ads to get a better return on your investment. And continuously track your performance using all the key metrics that are key to you. Analyze the data to gain insights into what's working and what's not working. Some keywords pop up. People found your ad looking for something completely different, but you popped up. You could take those keywords and make them negative keywords so that your ad doesn't get shown if that's ever requested again. This helps you refine your strategy and improve your results. Digital marketing at the end of the day is an ongoing process, and you need to adapt. Adaptation is key. You need to be on the ball and taking notice of what's happening around you and with what you're putting out there into the ether. Let's talk about search engine optimization. So for those of you that have got websites or write blogs or create content, SEO is the process of improving your website's visibility and ranking in search engine results. So SERP. Everybody uses Google. It's the biggest platform on the planet that gets used by the middle to mid 90% of users around the world. The number at the moment with AI goes up and down on a monthly basis, but Google is potentially the search engine I'm going to talk about. There are others, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, that still get used. Bing's up and coming and growing. I mean, when you buy a new laptop or PC, Bing is there. It's built in. It's a Microsoft product. So you got to figure out, and you can use all these search engines to help you with this process to improve your website and ranking. A lot of these, I'm going to talk Google here, offers a lot of free tools. It's both Bing and Google have webmaster tools. They've got a thing called Search Console, which analyzes your website and your pages, and it tells you what's wrong and what's not working and what they don't like. And it shows you how to remediate, or tells you about how to remediate the problem so that it will accept your page and index it and present it if somebody's looking for it. So they're free, they're easy to set up, and it's a good place to start your SEO journey, and it's a good place to keep coming back to keep your website optimized for, like I mentioned earlier, these Google changes their algorithms regularly. So if you visit your search engine console once a month kind of thing and fix any problems, you'll be in Google's good books, and they'll put your company forward in search engine results when people are looking for you. So there's two main parts to SEO. So there's one is on page. That's kind of what I described now with the webmaster tools. So this involves optimizing all the elements on your website, like using the right keywords, creating high quality content, and improving your website structure. And then you get off page SEO. This is where you focus on building your website's authority, building your reputation through external factors like backlinks. There's a few places you can go and get free backlinks, a lot of paid backlinks. If you want the authority from a really strong website, you'd probably end up paying for that. And then the social media engagement, which also gives you a backlink. I mean, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram are used by millions of people around the world. If you've got a backlink from that, you inherit that website's authority. So by investing time and a little bit of money into SEO, you can increase organic traffic. So, not paid for, not running through an ad and paying for every click. You can increase your brand visibility and then ultimately lead to more leads and more sales. So one thing I always tell clients from an SEO perspective, SEO is an ongoing process. It's a strategy. You got to keep working at it. It's something you do regularly, weekly, monthly at the minimum. Weekly is kind of the best thing to do it. And even if you spend an hour a week on your SEO effort, and staying up to date with the algorithm updates, you've got a really good strategy. This is not a tactic. It's not something you start with and just leave it and expect it to help. It doesn't. Because of all the algorithm changes and the updates, your website, if you don't touch it for a few months, might not be in Google's favor or Bing's favor. So you get delisted, if you like, because you're not meeting their new requirements. So the first 6 months of SEO is very important because that's when you get most of the legwork done. After that first 6 months, if you've done everything and you've ticked all the boxes on Bing and Google, the worst part of SEO is over. The next, after that, it's about making sure any piece of content you load, any new products you load, any new images you load, any new links that you set up are within the required guidelines of these two search engines. You'll understand them at this point. It becomes an ongoing thing every time you update your website. Let's talk about social media marketing. So social media has transformed the way businesses connect with their audience, not just people to people, but businesses. It's no longer just a platform for sharing, personal updates. I'm eating this food today. It's become a very powerful tool for building brand awareness, and engaging with your customers and driving sales from, as I mentioned, from an SEO perspective, getting them back to your website to go fill in a form and pick up the phone and phone you. I've mentioned this a few times, but choosing the right platform is crucial. When you're building your social media plan and your strategy, choosing the right platform is extremely important. As I mentioned, business to business, business to client, e-commerce, etc. You need to know where your target audience is and where they spend most of their time. You need to consider the factors like demographics. All of this is available in your platform. In any of these platforms, it's got all this kind of data available at your fingertips. And you can do a lot of research about your audience on social media, where they spend their time, what time they're available. You need to consider factors like their demographics, what are their interests, and the platform algorithms, because they also change on social media. Maybe not as much as Google, but they do change. I mean, if you watch the news, you'll see Facebook's in the news again about antitrust and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to change how their platform works. So you got to keep that in mind while you plan it. You also got to remember that social media is a two-way street. You build relationships, you foster a community around your brand, you're talking to people, you're providing valuable content, you're responding to comments and any messages that come up. You run engaging campaigns, viral campaigns, if you like, to help you grow and create a loyal following. Obviously, back to choosing the right platform, obviously you want to get, and it's quite essential in maximizing your impact to the audience that you're trying to reach. Choosing the wrong platform, your impact becomes less. When done right, social media can obviously amplify your brand in a massive way, foster engagement, where you talk to your customers, answering questions, and in that funnel, it'll help you drive sales. I mentioned earlier, there's so many, in that graphic I showed earlier, there's so many platforms out there. You can't be on all of them. Spreading yourself too thin across multiple platforms is extremely counterproductive. You're going to be spending most of your time trying to post everywhere and not enough time in front of customers and closing deals. Keep that in mind. what are the benefits of choosing the right platforms? It's increase your reach, connect with your target audience where they spend their time, enhancing your engagement, building relationships with potential clients, creating a loyal following and a community, increasing your brand awareness and visibility and recognition. Um, if you choose the wrong platforms, some of the negatives are you're wasting your time, you're wasting any investment that you put into it, especially if the platform doesn't align with your audience. Inconsistency, struggling to maintain a strong presence across multiple platforms can be really difficult. Today with AI, one of the key things we find is on a company's website, their address is something, and on their Google business, it's slightly different. Their phone numbers are different. The way they say their name or spell their name is different. That hurts. That's inconsistent. AI, penalizes businesses for that. And then obviously being on the wrong platform dilutes your message. It's hard to deliver a clear and consistent brand message across all these platforms. I mean, they've all got their own personalities. Each platform has got their own personalities. They've got a certain type of person looking at it. When you're building your strategy, you'll learn this, and then you'll miss opportunities by choosing the wrong platform. Failing to capitalize on your strength on the specific platforms that make sense, it's a missed opportunity. So if you don't have a website, haven't got a domain yet, and you want to get yourself out there and you haven't done so yet, the very first thing you need to do is you need to set up your Google business listing. We've all done searches on Google, and you can go and search for any type of business or business by name. The page that gets presented to you is split in two. On the left-hand side is all the blue links, and on the right-hand side, there's usually a little page that's got some images and a business's name, as you can see in this photo here, their reviews, a link to chat to them, go to their website. So this is a game changer for any local business that doesn't have a digital footprint yet. This is your digital storefront. It's an online hub where customers can find you, they can interact with you, they can learn about your business. You can post on Google Business. You can create a short little post, a little blog post if you like, talking about your business, talking about your services. You can put your products on this, and people can click a button here, and you can take them to somebody to go buy your product. You can give them directions. They can, your phone numbers, everything's available there. You can put pictures of your products on Google Business. If you don't have a website, this is the next best thing that's available to you for free. There's no hosting fees, there's no setup fees, none of that. It's for free, absolutely free. And by claiming and optimizing your Google Business listing, you're essentially putting your business on the map. No pun intended there, because Google Business and Google Maps, they work together, hand in hand. If somebody's looking for directions to your business, they can click the directions button, the map opens, and they start directing you to wherever you are. Google Business obviously increases your visibility in local search results. Anybody searching for any of your products, you will be given the opportunity to be presented in SERP, search engine result pages, making it so much easier for your customers to find you. But it's not all about visibility, it's also about engagement. There's a way to chat with customers directly here. You can interact with them directly, you can respond to reviews, answer any questions, and also build relationships from here. It's got its own little messenger platform where you can have one-on-one conversations. So it's a platform that showcases your business. It's a platform to help you build trust and ultimately driving more customers through your doors. While search engines like Bing and DuckDuckGo and Yahoo exist, their market share in our country specifically is significantly smaller. So this platform, as part of your SEO efforts, is a good place to yield really significant results for any business. So to give you an idea here, the search engine market share of South Africa, I've got some numbers, I'll read it out. It's not much different today. Google has 94.64% of the search market share in South Africa. Bing is about 5% today. Yahoo is below 8%. Petal, DuckDuckGo, and Yandex are 0.0% of the total search engine market share in South Africa. So to emphasize my point, Google is a great place to help you with your SEO, help you to get in front of customers, and it's free. It just takes a bit of time. Let's talk about some of the tools that are available. And I'm going to talk about free tools today. I mean, there's a lot of paid version of tools out there. But if you're on a shoestring budget and starting out your business journey, money is tight. So there's a lot of free things out there. Before we go through any of these tools, I want to go back to what I said earlier. You could go and start with a Canva profile, and it allows you to do a certain amount of things in a certain amount of time, and you're limited by it eventually. Then if you want to upgrade what the capability and the functionality and get more out of it, you've got to put some money down. Before you go and put any money down on any of these tools, go and do some research and find an AI that you can resonate with and you feel can help you. These AI tools are freaking amazing. I mean, I was chatting to Tracy earlier before we started the call. I pay for Claude every month. I've just upgraded my subscription from the very low, cheap one to quite a substantial amount. I've employed a full suite of C-level people. So I've got a board of directors, I've got a financial advisor, I've got a legal advisor, I've got a go-to-market strategist, I've got a CTO, a CIO, and these guys look at various aspects of my business. I feed them information, and then we together come up with a plan. I tweak and comment, and we put plans together to do certain things. It helps me build our social media strategy and plan. It helps us create content. It creates the content in our voice, focusing on the clients we're targeting. So we built personas, and we've asked AI to enhance them and add more data, and then our strategies are focused around those personas. And a piece of work like this takes 20 minutes to an hour, and then at the end of it, you can tell it, listen, here's access to my Facebook account, my LinkedIn account, whatever it is, go and post, and it does it. And if you're not into design and you don't have the creative mind, or you're not into copywriting or content creation, AI is there to help you. It can do almost all of the stuff for you, and really pretty well. What you put in is what you get out. So the more you feed it, the better it gets. If you're not into AI and you want to use the other tools that are available, first and foremost, Google, from an SEO perspective, getting your brand out there, understand what people are saying about you, how people are finding you. Google has a plethora of tools. Same with Bing. Bing, if you've got a Google account and you sign up for Bing, it asks you to log in with your Google account, and then it asks if it can import your Google information from Google Business, Google Ads, whatever it is, analytics. So I would suggest start with Google Business, set up your business profile, have a look at the analytics, connect it to your Google Business profile, set up some tags. If you've got a website, use Search Console to give you feedback on the website. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free. Google will walk you through step by step on how to resolve the challenges they're finding. So good place to start. Then social media, everything you do on social media, bar running ads, is free. Use it. All of them have got schedulers, all of them have got planners. You can spend a day setting up 6 months worth of posts in social media. If you like Meta Business for Facebook and Instagram, you can create a post and you can click 2 little boxes that says post it to Facebook, post it to Instagram at this time on this day, and it will do it for you. You don't have to worry about it. You set it up. I'll share this slide with you. You can go through. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of free tools covering a vast amount of skills. Have a look. Maybe there's something you can use. Free is always the best place to start. Okay. I've done my talking for today. If there are any questions, now's the time. Bing is so hard to use and not user-friendly. There's also Apple Maps, which is up and coming, but because I work from home, Apple Maps will not let me register because it can see my address is not a business. That's fine. I get it. Bing, you know what? Like I said, if you set up Google Business, your Google profile first, and do all the bits that Google wants you to do and get through most of the stuff that Google asks you for and fix all the problems, and then go and sign up for Bing, it becomes easier because all that information just gets pulled across from Google. You've done all the hard work in Google. So I think the hard thing I've found with Bing, Tammy, is index now. Setting up the index now is not very well explained on Bing. But I got it working. So I hope that helps.
Hi, Renato.
Hi, who's that?
It's Rhea here from Ease Mobile Spa. So
Hi,
we've
Ria.
just recently as well started with our marketing campaign. And
Okay.
basically our main goal is to firstly attract more business or the mobile spa servicing business more than individual. That's our one strategy. And then our other strategy, because we're not intentionally targeting new customers, what we're trying to do is that we're trying to get our inquiries, people that have inquired about our services before, or people that have booked, to become part of our community through our WhatsApp channel, as well as our WhatsApp community. Now,
Good.
we're trying to get people to come and sign up onto our WhatsApp community, and we're trying to put incentives for them for following us. Question, is that the
Yeah.
best way to go and do it, to find incentives? And the other part of that question is, besides the WhatsApp channel, we're also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and we also post on Google. Now, question about that is around content. Would you say the best strategy is to always post the same content, or to come up with different types of contents for those different types of platforms that we would be posting on? Thanks.
So I like the strategy. I like the plan. It's good. You, depending on your incentives, I would potentially look at tweaking the incentive rather than incentivizing the person to come and join. You incentivize your current followers to invite others to come and do that for you. Because then,
Okay.
I mean, let's just say your Facebook page has got 500 followers. You send out that incentive. This is how Facebook works. You send out that incentives. Out of your 500 followers, you will probably only reach 25 to 50 of them. Out of those 50, because you know how people are, we just scroll, 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 go.
Yeah.
Don't even see you. Out of those 50 people that actually see you in their news feed, 20 of them will potentially click. So that's, 20 people out of your 500 that'll do something. But if you send it to somebody that's already in your community of those 500, and you incentivize the 500 people to go out and say, you know, the person that gets the most connections to our whatever will get XYZ. Now you're reaching not just the 500 people, but the thousands of people they are already following or following them because they're now going to post what you've got. So it's kind of like affiliate marketing for free.
I
Um,
see.
then on the content side, your LinkedIn tone, if you like, needs to be slightly different to your Facebook tone, needs to be slightly different to your Instagram tone because you're speaking to different people. Same message, you're just speaking to different people. So business to business, it's generally formal. Business to consumer, so like Facebook, Instagram, will be a little bit more relaxed. if that makes sense.
Yes, it definitely makes sense, and I'm sure it will help. I like using our current followers, that strategy to actually encourage other people to follow. Like you said, word of mouth will always be one of the
Absolutely.
biggest, yeah, in
Absolutely.
marketing.
And
Yeah,
then also
no.
don't forget to use the hashtags on social media. Very, very important.
Yes,
I mean, if you don't
yes,
use the hashtag, you reach 20 people. If you use the hashtag, you could reach 20 million people.
yes. Okay, just one last question before I
Please.
go. I just wanted to ask, in us trying to get more corporates to book for our spa treatments, what do you say is the best strategy? Because I don't necessarily think somebody in HR is necessarily looking at ads. Would you say for us to go directly and knock at their doors and be like, okay, this is who we are, this is what we can offer our company, or more to go on email? What would be the best approach when approaching corporates?
I would look at a campaign, something along the lines of if you read corporates on LinkedIn, right? So,
Yes.
um, do you have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes.
And you get emails from LinkedIn telling you, hey, somebody's looked at your profile.
Yeah,
Every
sometimes
now
I
and then,
do. I think I've
every now and then.
disabled them.
Okay, so there are people out there that pay for LinkedIn, and there are companies out there that pay for LinkedIn. So, the little LinkedIn icon changes to like yellow for sales, and
Yes.
there's a blue one for unverified, whatever it is. So, if you, this is, so we've automated this strategy using a tool. Basically, what it does is we target we go and search for the people that we want to reach out to. So the businesses, the audio, like if you're just looking in Joburg and you want to look at enterprise businesses in this field, and you're looking for the marketing manager and the HR, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Um, those are the people that you want to reach. So for a non-automated process, you keep one page of your search results and then you open a new tab for each person and just look at their profile today.
Okay.
Tomorrow you come back to that profile and you send them a direct message. People that aren't connected to you, hi, I'm from XYZ
Mm,
company, I would like to share some information with you, not without selling. Um,
yes.
when they accept your invitation, you kind of thank them for that, obviously, and then you tell them, because now you've got access to more information about them. You've got access to phone numbers, email addresses, all that kind of stuff. Um, start sending them emails without selling them anything, but telling them the
Yeah.
benefits of massage in the corporate environment, about how it solves stress problems, whatever. And you send 3 or 4 or 5 emails uh, with a read receipt on it and a delivery receipt on it from your mailbox. And then when a person has read a bunch of emails from you, they know you better. They know who you are now.
Yeah.
They know what you offer. Then you can pick up the phone and say, thanks for reading all my emails. Really appreciate that. How can I help you? When can we come for
Yeah.
and give you a massage? It's not like a cold call. Hi, I'm phoning about doing this. Who would I speak to? And they're like, I'm too busy now. Goodbye. They know
Yeah.
you now. They've already introduced you. So the 7 to 12 touch points, get them.
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. No, that is brilliant. Thank you for that.
No worries.
Mhm.
There's
Hi
a question.
Renato,
Yes. Hi, Mark.
my name is Mark. How are you doing? Firstly,
I'm very
just
well
thank you
indeed.
very much. Good, good. Thank you very much for your content. It's been very interesting and nice to watch. We have spoken before with Russell. Just as
Okay.
an aside, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned something about backlinks. Paying for backlinks. I thought that Google frowned on paid for backlinks sort of content.
No, not at all. So how backlinks work is if somebody's out there searching for you and your services, and they happen upon a website, let's just say your website's authority is sitting at 20 or at 10, it's very low. And you've written an article or a blog and you've asked them to publish it. I'm going to use Apple on Apple's website. Apple's authority is like 90, 95% out of 100. And their website has got a link back to your website. So when somebody's searching for your product and Apple's website comes along, and they go to the website and they click on the link on that blog that you wrote for Apple, your website changes from the 10 or 20 out of 100 to the 90 to 95. Your authority changes. You inherit that authority from the backlink. Some websites will allow you to do it for free. Others will ask you to pay. But, a backlink is not always just about a blog or posting on somebody else's website. There are many business type. Aut's got it. You can go and have a look on their website, and you can see, Aut businesses, and you can see all the businesses that have signed up and that work with Aut. There are many platforms like Yelp. The Yellow Pages back in the day was one of them, where you can go and register your business name, address, phone number, and a website address. When you put in a website address, you get that backlink from that website. You can do the research, and you can do the on the website and find out what their authority is, and if it's higher than yours, sign up with them. Signing up with those guys generally doesn't cost a lot of money, and there's a truckload of companies out there that do that. So I think it's Crunchbase, Yelp, those kind of things. They do help with backlinks, and then initially it's for free. You want more services, you gotta pay. But no, they don't frown upon that.
Okay,
it's
fine.
very important and part of the SEO process, and it's part of the algorithm.
Right. But if you because there are, I'm just saying there's also people there's companies that advertise getting you backlinks that are paid. In other words, they paid backlinks. Now, as far as I understood, Google does frown upon that sort of approach, or not really.
No, not really. Look, if you're going to get a backlink on something that's unrelated, like you go to one of these blacklisted gambling websites, for example, you're going to get penalized for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, in general, no. If you're above board, 9 times out of 10, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
Question, Renato. Apologies about that, Renato.
No worries. Carry on.
Yeah, Renato, I just want to ask you something. When it comes to SEOs and search engine optimizations, what other platforms do you use? Do you just enter it on Google Search Console? Do you just do indexing on Google Search Console, or do you use Perplexity, Firecrawl? Which is the best tool? Because what I've been doing on my side, I've been using Google Search Console, but for site verification, if the site was developed by WordPress, it takes a bit of a while. It takes some time to get that,
So I think Search Console is where you start your journey. So, if you go on the right-hand side of the Search Console window, it's got the pages part. If you click on the pages, it tells you a whole long list of things that it's done, problems it's found, and things it hasn't done. The first thing you do is, if it says pages crawled but unindexed, and then it'll give you a number. If you just take that, click on that and tell it to run it, it will now start indexing your page. Once there's nothing under your pages, there's no problems under there, you've told Google, or you're abiding by Google's requirements. That's your base.
Yeah.
Then, considering what you're saying, the next free tool is called Page Speed Insight.
Page Speed Insight. Okay.
Also a Google tool.
Yep.
And you type in your website address, and it'll tell you about the home. So whatever address you type in, if it's your home page, it will only analyze the home page. So if you wanted to analyze your about page, you put in your website address /about, and it'll analyze the about page. But it gives you things like largest content paint. So how long does it take for your page to load? What is slowing the page down from loading? And those things hurt if you don't fix them as well. So if your images are JPEG or PNG and not WebF, it takes a little bit longer to load. If you've got a video that loads first on your website, it's going to take longer to load. It kind of makes you think, like, if I was a visitor on my website and you typed in your website address and you enter, and it took 3 seconds to load just the video, I'm not going to stick around for that. you're probably not going to stick
Sure.
around for that. You're just going to leave.
Yeah.
So page speed
Yeah.
insight will help you fix that. That'll be your next step. And then you can
Noted.
use things like GT metrics.
Yeah.
Does that help? Is that what you then from a paid
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a free version.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've got that. I've noted those.
Ahrefs, SEMrush, what's the other one? Those are other SEO focused platforms that will do a lot more of an in-depth dive on each page, on each object, on your text, give you AI feedback. I mean, if you want to get really advanced, SEMrush, Ahrefs are good platforms to pay for, if you like.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Renato. Thank you.
So do you find you have to use multiple AIs to run various activities, or is there a top 3 that you can recommend? So yes, I do use multiple AIs. I use Gemini, which is a Google product, to help me with things like SEO, to help me plan websites, because it's plugged into all of Google's tools. It's been trained on all of Google tools. So like Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google Business Profiles, and all the, Gmail, all that kind of stuff. It's got access to all that information. So when you're trying to get out in front of customers, that is a great AI tool to kind of help you get started, fix problems, and put a plan together on an SEO strategy or a Google business plan, whatever it is. ChatGPT is great for writing. This is my experience, right? I'm not a thought leader in this, but I'm giving you my feedback. ChatGPT is absolutely awesome in creating content. So write me an article on X to post on LinkedIn, focused on this. They're really good at that. Perplexity is a good planning tool and a strategy tool on how to run your core business and put plans together. And then you can take that plan and feed it into Gemini and ChatGPT to create pieces of content or offer additional guidance. I'm paying for Claude, and Claude is doing a whole bunch of things for me. It helps run SEO audits on websites, on customers' websites. So we do a free audit offering on websites to our customers. So it helps us run that, and it's quite in depth. We can tell it to go as deep or as shallow as we want. Claude helps me respond to emails, it drafts emails, responses I can review, and then edit, change, fast forward, off you go. It looks at calendars, it looks at financials, it's writing applications for me, software as a service applications. But this is me. So I use more than one. What is Manus? Manus is a great research tool. I don't pay for it. I use the free version, but if you want to go out and find the top 10 customers in a certain field and give you information about who they are, who's the best person to contact, how do I reach them, blah, 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 all that kind of information, Manus is a good research tool. I hope that helps.